Hello, word nerds, and welcome to another episode of the dictionary. This specifically is episode F126. My name is Spencer, and I am here to read you so many flea words. Oh, I would have loved to have flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers on this episode, but clearly I'm not able to make that happen. We're in different circles, to say the least. All right, let's get into the words. The first word is the third form of the word flaw. Flaw. This is a verb from 1610, starting with transitive. To make flaws in, and the synonym is mar. Like if you claw something, if you break something, you're marring it, you're flawing it. If I rip my shirt, I will have flawed my shirt. Intransitive is to become defective. So maybe you are the thing, and you just somehow like, oh, I just became defective. This is how I stand now. Nah, I have flawed. All right, well, let's make a sound effect. What sound effect shall we make? What's the sound of a flea? I don't know if they make sounds. Maybe I can go blah, because that's the sound I make when I think about fleas, see fleas, hear fleas, taste fleas. All right, the next word is flax. F-L-A-X, noun from before the 12th century. Number one, any of a genus. Well, lots of parentheses there. Any of a genus of herbs, but especially a slender, erect annual with blue flowers, commonly cultivated for its bast fiber and seed. Bast fiber? What is bast? I'm sure I read it, and I'm sure I don't remember it. Flax, blue flowers. Aren't blue things that are blue in nature pretty uncommon? We have blue berries, and there are some blue flowers, but I feel like we don't see a lot of blue stuff. All right, I'm trying to find bast. Let's see, bast fiber. Okay, well, let's go to bast fiber. Here, a strong woody fiber obtained chiefly from the phloem of plants and used especially in cordage, matting, and fabrics. Using it to make stuff. And yeah, flax is one of those things that can be used for a lot of stuff, like hemp. We eat flax. It's a very healthy thing. Get that mashed flaxseed. No, what's the proper term? Ground flaxseed. Put it in your smoothies, in your oatmeal. In fact, I have some. Yeah, I think I have some oatmeal packets over there that have flaxseed in them. What does it do for your body? I'm not sure. But it's does good stuff. It does good stuff. The genus name is Linum, of the family Linaceae, which is the flax family. And the species name of this more common one is, I guess it's Linum usitatissimum. Is that right? Usitatissimum. Oh, I did a double S instead of a double M. Utitatissimum. Something like that. Okay, yeah, that's flax. Fiber, seed, we're using it. And that's it for that. Now we go to number two. The fiber of the flax plant, especially when prepared for spinning. Spinning it, making it into fibers, long skinny fibers, that you can use for, I don't know, I guess, do you make yarn out of flax? Maybe. Number three, any of several plants resembling flax are also called flax. Flaxy is an adjective. Oh, you're looking so flaxy today. Well, yes, that's because I put flax in my smoothie. I'm feeling so flaxy. Ooh, yeah, I'm feeling the flaxy coming on. Yeah. All right, where does this word come from? Old English flax, akin to the Old High German flaws, which means flax. From the Latin plectere, which means to braid. And there's more at the word ply. So maybe because it was turned into a yarn or something, you could braid with it or use it in some sort of form. That's the Latin plectere. And then it became flaws and flax and stuff like that. The next word is flaxen. Adjective from the 15th century. Number 1 is made of flax. I eat so much flax in all my smoothies that I am now flaxen. I have been made of flax. My body has been replaced bit by bit with just flax. Boy, the camera does not love all of these hand motions I do here. It gets all crappy and artifacty sometimes. Flaxen. I am feeling flaxen. Number 2, resembling flax, especially in pale, soft, strawy color, as in flaxen hair. So is that the color of flax? The strawy? Pale, soft, strawy color. I think of hay, I guess, to probably have the same color as flax. Flax seed is next. This is one word, even though I separated them out just to say it properly. Flaxseed. Noun from 1562. The small seed of flax. Used especially as a source of oil. Also as a demulcent and emollient, and as a dietary supplement. Called also linseed. Oh, I don't know if I knew that linseed and flaxseed are the same thing, but it makes sense when you think about the family name and the genus name of flax, because it starts with L-I-N. Let's see. It says here again, the species name that we're using this, the type of flax that we're using to do all these things with the seed is Linum usitatissimum. There we go. Let's put a link in the show notes for flaxseed and I guess like all of the, well, maybe just flax in general and flaxseed. All the uses of flax and what are the health benefits of the flaxseed? Why is it so good? Why do people use it as a dietary supplement? What's it gonna do to you? Is it gonna make you flaxen? Okay, I think that's it for that one. And now we're gonna go to the next word, which is flay. F-L-A-Y. Verb from before the 12th century. It is only transitive, yes. Number 1. To strip off the skin or surface of. The synonym is skin. So when you are slowly, doesn't have to be slowly. I don't know why I said that. If you are taking your skin off, you are flaying yourself. It's literally, that's what this is. Literally taking the skin off of a thing is flaying it. Usually, this is not happening to humans, although it clearly has happened to humans over the years. But usually I think this is happening to animals that people have killed and they are getting ready to eat. Not my favorite thing. Number 2 is to criticize harshly. The synonym is excoriate, a good word that I don't remember at all. Excoriate. So if you're criticizing harshly, it's like you're metaphorically taking off their skin when you're criticizing them. They feel so raw and exposed to the world. You flay. Ooh, she got flayed. Number 3, the synonym is the 1B definition for the word lash. As in the example, the wind whipped up to gale fury, flaying his face. That is a quote from Richard Kent. flaying his face. So luckily, I think literally this is not literally taking the skin off of his face. No, please and thank you. This is lashing it. I think it's just more like smacking. I guess that's how I'm thinking of lashing. Lashing out. I'm lashing out. Smacking around, hitting, punching. The wind is punching. I guess that's what it is. This word is from the Middle English flen, from the Old English fleon, akin to the Old Norse flaw. Maybe that's how they say that word. That means to flay. From the Lithuanian plesti, which means to tear. And yes, if you are skinning a thing, you are probably tearing the skin off, at least at some point, to get that process started. Blech, 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 blech. That's what I have to say about that. Flay. Horror movies, they like to maybe sometimes put in some flaying in the horror movies. Okay, that's it for flay. Now we're going to go to F-layer. F-layer. It's like flayer, but it's capital F, next word layer. Noun from 1928. This is the highest and most densely ionized regular layer of the ionosphere, occurring at night within the F region. Why at night? Is there something about when the sun is not shining on that part, it changes? The highest and most densely ionized regular layer of the ionosphere occurring at night within the F region. Well, you know what? Let's have a little fun here. Let's look up the ionosphere layers. Let's look this up on the old Google device. The ionosphere has three main layers: the D layer, the E layer, and the F layer. What happened to the A, B, and C layers? They're part of the upper atmosphere between 50 and 1,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface. I assume layers A, B, and C are in something not called the ionosphere. Let's look at this picture. There's F1 layer and F2 layer. If it's F2 is the highest one, so is that the one that we're calling the F layer, or maybe both of them together are the F layer? The F layer is part of the ionosphere that may be further divided into several regularly occurring layers such as F1 and F2. I'm not sure about the details of this stuff. I mean, I'm aware of this thing, but like, what is it? What is it about the layers that's different from each other, other than the height? The D layer absorbs high-frequency radio waves, which can degrade radio communication. Well, I guess you can't do that in the E layer or the F layer. All right. Well, that's there's some information there. Where are planes flying? Below? I don't know. Somewhere in there. Okay. That's it for F layer. Now we're going to go. Oh, that was the last FLA word. Now we're going to go. Now we have FLDR. Two words. They're not words, but two abbreviations. FL, then DR. Abbreviations for fluid dram. Not a physical dram, not a solid dram. A fluid dram. Now we have flea, F-L-E-A. Noun from before the 12th century. This is any of an order of small, wingless, blood-sucking insects that have a hard, laterally compressed body and legs adapted to leaping and that feed on warm-blooded animals. A lot of good information there. The order name is Siphenoptera. Oh, okay. Wait, let's think about this for a second. Do we have etymology? The Well, that's not helpful because I wanted the etymology of the order. I know of like siphon. I imagine maybe the siphon is about them pulling the blood out of a thing because that's sort of siphoning. But the rest of it, the PTERA, makes me think of wings, right? I think. Am I mistaken in that? Let's see. Are there any other definitions for siphon? We're almost there. Don't worry. There's a lot of S words. Here we go. Wow. There's three definitions for siphon, and two of them are huge. A tube. Yeah, I mean, I think they kind of have a tube in their mouth, but was that something to do with wings? That's the confusing part. They don't have wings. So I don't know. But anyway, Siphonoptera. Maybe there's some other etymology I'm not aware of. That's the order name. There's a picture of a flea. It looks like a flea. They have this hard body, I guess, that has these, like, not scales, but these ridges that sort of go down the back, go down on the top part of the body and the under part of the body. Looks like they have a bunch of little hairs, especially on their butt. Their face has some little sort of antennae-looking things. They're probably I don't know, maybe the siphons, maybe they're extra little appendages to help them eat. And then they have a number of legs. It looks like maybe 6 legs with some hair on them. And, they look like an insect that none of us want to experience in any way whatsoever. Anything else? Well, we do have a phrase, flea in one's ear. The synonym for that is rebuke, as in, send him away with a flea in his ear. Can't really think of a good definition for rebuke, unfortunately. Rebuke, I think of like, sent him away with a flea in his ear. Like getting rid of something, like, I don't like that. Send away. I don't know. It's an interesting one. I wonder what the etymology of that is like. A flea in his ear. Here, I don't want you around, so I'm going to put this flea in your ear, and then you can leave and go take care of that. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting one. Never heard the phrase either. Flea in one's ear. I got a flea in my ear. I don't like it. It's sucking my blood through my brain holes. The word flea is from, let's see, Old High German flaw, which means flee. So flea just means flee. That's it. They made up a word for flea. And that's it. Okay, I got nothing. I don't think I've ever experienced fleas, really. I'm sure people with dogs have. Did one of my cats have fleas? Well, we got our one cat when she was a kitten, but I don't think she had fleas. I think she had something else when we took her to the vet. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't ever want to experience fleas. Unless it's Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I would love to talk with him, hang out with him. He seems like an interesting, good guy. Now we have Fleabag, one word, noun from 1839. An inferior hotel or rooming house. Oh, it's a flea bag. It's just like a bag of fleas. It's like they took a bag of fleas and threw them in the hotel room. Don't stay there. I think we can also describe a person as a flea bag. There was that show, that British show called Fleabag, I think, with that woman who was very great and funny. I guess she was considered the flea bag, but there's no definition here about a person being a flea bag. How would you describe that? Would you just say that they're a terrible human being? I don't know about that. Maybe that's a little extreme. I don't want to stay in a flea bag. It makes me go, Hua. Now we have fleabane, B-A-N-E. This is one word, noun from 1548. Any of various composite plants that were once believed to drive away fleas. Fleabane. It's like, oh, the fleas are like, that's the bane of my existence. I don't like that plant. I gotta get away from that plant. It's driving me away. That bane. The genus name for this is Erigeron, something like that. The fleabane. Well, they once believed that it drives away fleas, but does that mean that it does not actually drive away fleas? People were like shaking their fleabane at the fleas, and the fleas were like, what? I don't care. I'm hanging out on this dog's luscious flesh. Hooah! Next is flea beetle. 2 words, noun from 1842. Any of a subfamily of small chrysomelid beetles with legs adapted for leaping that feed on foliage and include some that are agricultural pests. The subfamily name is Alticinae, and especially the genera Alticea and also Epitrix. Let's see, anything else? Well, they're beetles. I assume they are called flea beetles because they have the legs that are adapted for leaping, and I didn't talk about it really much in the word flea, but what's the stat? There's some crazy stat that they can leap taller than a tall building. Let's see. How high can fleas jump? Here we go. A flea can jump up to 2 feet high, which is roughly 40 to 100 times its body length, making it seem like a human jumping. The equivalent for a human is jumping over a skyscraper relative to their size. A tall building. Let's see. So they're like superheroes. Now this one says the distance they can jump is 13 inches in distance. That seems odd. Anyway, I'm sure that there's a lot of... Now this one says they can jump up to 150 times their own body length. So anywhere from 40 to 150 times their body length. That's how they can jump. So they are leaping masters. And the flea beetle can also leap real good. Okay, next we go. Flea bite. 1 word, noun from 1570. Number 1, the bite of a flea. Doesn't seem like this is one that would need to be in the dictionary, but we do have more. Also, the red spot caused by such a bite is a flea bite. It's red because they've been sucking your blood, and then it becomes red because there's all this blood at the surface. Number 2, a trifling pain or annoyance. So this is the one. I don't think if this one existed, we wouldn't put flea bite number 1 in the dictionary. If somebody is annoying you, they're just a trifling pain. They're always there by your side talking to you, bugging you. Maybe it's a child. You're like, you're such a flea bite. Get away from me. Get away from me, you flea bite. I have all these red spots on me because you keep on poking me with your fingers. Flea bite. That's it. Blah. Flea bitten. 2 words with a hyphen, adjective from 1570. Number 1 is talking about a horse having a white or gray coat flecked with a darker color. So I guess it's like, their light coat, because it's flecked with this darker color, the darker color looks like they've got lots and lots of little flea bites. They're not actually bitten by fleas, but it's a little confusing to people who don't know all of these different horse colors. Somebody says, there's my flea-bitten horse. Like, maybe you should call a doctor and maybe wash them and do whatever other things you need to get rid of those fleas. No, they don't have fleas. They just look like they've been bitten by fleas because they have dark speckles. dark speckles. Now we have number 2. It's bitten by or infested with fleas. Yes, this is an adjective, so if something is literally bitten, infected by fleas, you can call them flea-bitten. You're such a flea-bitten flea bag. Blah. Flea collar, 2 words, noun from 1953. A collar for animals, like dogs and cats, that contains insecticide for killing fleas. The thing that I don't understand how this works is the collar might have the insecticide, but does the insecticide spread through the rest of the body? How does the insecticide get from the neck, where the collar is, all the way to the butt and the tail on the back end? What's going on? Does it slowly release this insecticide? Do you have to get a new collar? Do you refill it with insecticide? Do you have to get a new collar with insecticide? I never had a dog, and my cats don't leave the house, so we're not worried about fleas, really. But yeah, 1953. Back then, somebody was like, well, let's put this harmful chemical in a collar and put it on an animal. How does it affect the animal? That's the other thing I want to know. Does it hurt them? Do they get sick? Are people still using these? I assume so, but I don't know. Flea collars. Flea-flicker, 2 words with a hyphen, noun from 1927. Any of various offensive plays in football involving a combination of handoffs and forward or lateral passes. Well, I love the name flea-flicker, and I guess they're just passing the ball from one person to another person. Here, let me throw it over to you. Here, let me hand it off. Bloop, I got the ball now. I'm running. That was a flea-flicker play. I guess, did they call it flea-flicker because when they do the passes, the lateral passes, maybe it looks like a flea hopping from one to the other? What? Why? There's no etymology. I would love to know that. Who called it that? 1927. I guess that was pretty early for football, wasn't it? The flea-flicker. We got to do the flea-flicker. All right. You go run that way, and we're going to do the flea-flicker play, and we'll all get a chance to touch the ball. Blah. Flea hopper. 1 word. Noun from 1902. Any of several small jumping bugs that feed on cultivated plants. Now, let's see. The flea itself, I don't think it said anything about eating plants. It just sucks blood. But we had the flea beetle, and that one, yes, feeds on foliage. It's an agricultural pest. And now we have the flea hopper. Several small jumping bugs that feed on cultivated. So I think that flea hopper, this is not a specific name of an insect. We're just talking about a variety of insects, and we call all of them flea hoppers because they hop like fleas, and also they feed on cultivated plants. So the flea beetle would be considered a flea hopper. But what's interesting is that the name has nothing to do with what other than jumping. What am I trying to say? They're not fleas. They hop like fleas. So that's where the name comes from, this term. But it doesn't say anything about them eating plants or anything. So I don't know. It's just kind of a funny name. But they're hopping, and fleas hop, so they're flea hoppers. Hoppity-doppity. Flea market. 2 words. Noun from 1922. We talk about going to a flea market these days, but it seems like an inaccurate name in modern times. What is it? A usually open-air market for second-hand articles and antiques. But why do we call this a flea market? Let's see. Well, it's I don't love this. It says it's a translation of the French Marché aux puces. I don't know how to say this word. I'm so sorry. Should we do a quick little translation thing to get the proper translation? Come on, here we go. Here's the translate, and we're gonna go from French. Where's the French? Let's scroll to the French. There wasn't anything. Well, I should say what the translation is as well. It's a market in Paris. Okay, so what is it? Marché aux puces. And yep, okay, that literally translates to flea market. Let's hear how to say it.
Marche aux puces.
Marche aux puces.
Marche aux puces.
Okay. French never is pronounced how I think it should be. So, wait, so I guess puces translates to flea? Does that mean that at that time that people were selling their old things that literally had fleas in them, and if you go and you buy it, you might get fleas? I mean, seems possible. I don't love the name. Hey, you want to go to the flea market? What? The place where we can buy stuff that we can possibly get fleas? No, I don't want to go there. Why would you want to go to the flea market? This is a terrible name, but we still use it. Flea pit, one word, noun from 1937. This is British. It is a dilapidated building, usually housing a movie theater. A flea pit. You British people, can you please tell me why this usually houses a movie theater? I would think just any sort of dilapidated building would be just fine. It's a flea pit. That one makes sense. But why is a movie theater in there? Weird. The last word, it's our last flea word. It's fleawort. Fleawort. One word. Fleawort. Noun from before the 12th century. Any of 3 Old World plantains whose seeds are sometimes used as a mild laxative. Compare to psyllium, spelled P-S-Y-L-L-I-U-M. I assume that is pronounced psyllium. Okay, so it's an Old World plantain. The species is Plantago psyllium. And sometimes the seeds are used as a mild laxative. So if you are mildly constipated, you can have some fleawort seeds, and maybe your constipation will be fixed. Also, I mean, there are lots of causes for constipation, but also, maybe get some more fiber in your diet and drink more water and those sorts of things. Those will probably help. But stress, that'll cause it too. Fleawort. Why is it called fleawort? It doesn't say. I want to know why it's called fleawort. Strange. I'm sure there's some good reason. I don't know. Okay, now we must pick a word of the episode because that is what we do here, and we have such a good time doing it. Today we had flaw, flax, flaxen, flaxseed, flay, F-layer, FLDR, folder, flea, fleabag, fleabane, flea beetle, flea bite, flea bitten, flea collar, flea flicker, flea hopper, flea market, flea pit, and fleawort. I feel like I gotta pick one of these flea words, but I'm not sure which one. I mean, they're all sort of like, not great things. Because they're infested with fleas, or they are fleas, or they're like fleas. I mean, okay, well, I think maybe, I just have to pick flea-flicker, 2 words with a hyphen, because it's just sort of a fun couple of words to say together, because they both start with fl, and that's fun. That's very flun. Flun to say flea-flicker. Flea-flicker, flea-flicker, flea-flicker. Flea-flicker, flea-flicker, flea-flicker. Playing flip-blow, doing the flea-flicker, flicking the fleas, flicking the blow all over the place. Oh my God. Okay, this is wonderful. You know what? I'm going to tell you about a movie that I watched just so we can move on from whatever that nonsense was. The next movie I watched was Piece by Piece, and it's very interesting. It's a documentary about Pharrell Williams, but also not just him, but also his whole community of people, musicians, artists, and he's telling his story about how he was sort of different from everybody and how he got into music. And, there's a lot of that history that I am not aware of because I didn't know who he was and I don't follow a lot of music stuff, especially in the hip hop world. Um, I have to say, any time I see sort of somebody making a documentary about themselves or talking about themselves, it's like it's a bit self-indulgent. There's clearly some reason why you think there should be a documentary made of you. But setting that aside, it was fascinating to learn about him and the people and the talent and the high school that he went to, I think, and all of the talent that came out of there. And then it's visually fascinating because it's all done in CGI Lego, like the Lego movie. And it was just a really interesting, clever way to show this visually. And they had a lot of fun with it. And so I really appreciated that. And that was cool. And that's what piece by piece, it's all the pieces coming together. And yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. A little weird hearing him talk about, himself or anybody talking about in some way, like kind of how great and different they are. So it always just makes me a little uncomfortable, but I did enjoy it. So that's it for that. And until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye.